My parents called at 2 a.m., demanding $15,000 for my brother. But the police call later revealed everything. They were frantic, screaming into the phone. "Emily, your brother is in the hospital right now. Send $15,000 immediately, or he'll suffer through the night and get stuck with the full bill." I stayed calm and said, "Call your precious daughter." Then I hung up, powered off my phone, and went straight back to sleep. The next morning, that police call flipped my world upside down. Let me break it down because this mess is unreal. I'm Emily Carter, 32, a financial analyst living alone in Seattle. I'm the eldest daughter, and for years, my family has seen me as their endless cash machine. My parents drilled it into me early, the oldest sacrifices for the younger ones. No questions asked, especially for their golden boy. I've covered college fees, bought vehicles, wiped out debts. You get the idea. I always gave in because that's what big sisters are supposed to do. But that 2 a.m. demand finally broke me. I said no for the first time, and the fallout tore my family apart in ways I couldn't predict. I've wired thousands for tuition that went nowhere, co-signed loans for flashy rides, bailed out maxed cards from impulse buys. Every time the guilt trip was the same. Tears from mom, silence from dad, accusations from my siblings. I tracked it all in a spreadsheet, over $120,000, all from my paycheck. And gratitude? Zero. It was just expected. My role as the family fixer. Until I realized they viewed me as a resource, not a daughter. Resources dry up eventually. If you've ever been the invisible wallet in your family, the one everyone drains but never thanks, share your experience in the comments below. I read them all. And tell me, where are you tuning in from? Drop your city. Now, let's dive into how it all unraveled. 2 months ago, Ryan burst into the family group chat with his big announcement about needing a reset weekend in Lake Tahoe alongside his buddy Justin Hale, the one whose father runs a chain of luxury car dealerships across Washoe County. He framed it as 4 days and 3 nights at Caesar's Palace, with mom and dad already footing the bill for flights in the room. Before anyone could respond, Megan jumped in saying she was coming too for some fresh content ideas, adding a laughing emoji and typing that Justin was covering her share so no extra hit to the family budget. I found out the details just like the rest of them through her Instagram stories, where she posed at SeaTac Airport in front of the charter lounge, holding a fresh Gucci duffel bag, captioning it as a gift from our parents. I snapped a screenshot and messaged mom with a question mark attached. She texted back right away that they only paid for Ryan, and Megan insisted Justin was handling everything else. That translated to them slipping Ryan a few thousand in cash while ignoring whatever schemes filled in the gaps. Ryan followed up in a private message that night, assuring me my bank account could relax for once since our folks had him sorted completely, ending with a thumbs up emoji. I replied with a simple okay and didn't bother reading further. They boarded early on a Thursday, and I was knee-deep in a quarterly report review at the office when the initial posts rolled in. Ryan shared a group selfie on the runway with Justin and Megan, all sporting identical aviator shades, captioned as the Tahoe conquest beginning. Megan uploaded a clip sweeping through the interior of a sleek bombardier jet someone had apparently arranged. Justin's family has solid connections, but chartering jets seemed a stretch even for them. I wondered briefly who covered that expense before shoving the curiosity aside, fed up with always being the one to question. Once they touched down in Reno and made the drive across the pass to South Lake Tahoe, their feeds exploded with updates. Checking into Caesar's with key cards flashing, they stepped into a penthouse suite featuring wraparound views of the water and mountains. Megan set up her ring light in the master bath for a quick tutorial on travel makeup, flaunting outfits still tagged from high-end stores. Ryan captured himself scattering $100 chips across a roulette wheel as if they were pennies. Justin posted looping videos of craft cocktails being shaken on the terrace. I was unwinding in my condo that evening with a salad bowl when Mom rang to chat casually. She sounded thrilled, praising how Ryan deserved this break after grinding so hard to figure out his path. He had bounced between gigs for years without sticking anywhere long, yet there she was framing it as dedication. She raved about Justin's generosity and how the whole setup felt like a dream for the kids. I paused the call to glance at another story from Megan, this one from the edge of the infinity pool at the resort, holding a specialty martini that rivaled my monthly utilities. Unmuting, I agreed it sounded enjoyable, and she offered to forward more snapshots. The next wave hit early Friday with them securing a black stretch Hummer for excursions. Clips showed them toasting at a lakeside cafe in State Line, then shifting to a chartered speedboat skimming across the bay. Megan's TikTok blew up with a dance routine on the deck, while Ryan and Justin posed with oversized sunglasses for effect, comments flooding in about living large and sibling goals. One remark speculated that the eldest must be bankrolling the extravagance, which lingered in my mind longer than intended. That afternoon, Ryan video called me from the gaming floor, his face flushed with excitement amid the chime of machines and crowd noise. He spun the camera to capture Justin chatting with a host and Megan snapping photos with passers-by. He boasted about the comped lounge access and how our parents pulled through majorly, urging me to imagine the vibe. When I pressed on the cost of the upgrades, he brushed it off, claiming Justin's connections hooked them up via a platinum card. Lowering his tone, he thanked me vaguely for past support before signing off with a wave. The numbers swirled in my head. Thousands from our parents, plus the aircraft, vehicle, and boat rentals stacking up fast. None of it added up neatly, but I reminded myself they were grown, and if Justin wanted to show off, that fell on him. If Mom and Dad chose to indulge Ryan yet again, it dipped into their savings, not mine. Shutting down alerts, I headed to a yoga session and focused on clearing my thoughts instead of theirs. The posts ramped up further by Saturday, shifting to a reserved lounge with velvet seating and premium spirits lined up. Megan appeared in a sparkling pendant necklace unfamiliar to me, labeling it as a token from Ryan's hot streak. Ryan documented sliding hefty chip stacks over a baccarat table while the dealer announced payouts audibly, Justin cheering in the frame. I checked one final time that evening and caught Megan's bathroom mirror shot in a plush robe clearly not from her luggage, captioned about family backing dreams. Locking the device, I affirmed whatever unfolded next stayed their burden alone. Little did I realize the illusion was cracking already. From arrival, their online presence morphed into a lavish showcase. Thursday evening brought suite tours with Megan panning over granite counters, stocked minibars, and them uncorking high-end bubbly on leather sofas. Ryan shared images of a gourmet spread at a waterfront spot. King crab legs, prime cuts, artisanal sides presented elegantly. Friday launched with the Hummer idling curbside, them loading in coordinated attire unseen prior. Caesars turned into their arena. Ryan filming wins at high-stakes slots with $500 pulls paying out multiples. Megan kept dropping restroom selfies, showcasing fresh Prada accessories and gemstone earrings under flashing lights. By midday, Tahoe vibes trended locally. Afternoon brought a 40-foot cruiser from a nearby marina, aerial views capturing the vessel gliding through crystal waters, Justin steering bare-chested, Ryan dousing the group with fizz while Megan lounged in minimal swimwear. A segment garnered over 1 million views rapidly, feedback praising the opulence and wondering about the funding. Evening deepened in the elite gaming area, Justin uploading a shot of roped-off tables laden with vintage bottles amid sparkling displays, tagging my siblings with a note on bonds that endure through fun. My gut tightened. Parents' contribution couldn't stretch to such levels. Refreshing became compulsive. Another update showed Ryan cradling purple chips, pressing them for luck. Megan polled followers on a Rolex variant in the lobby shop, screen flashing $40,000, majority favoring white gold. Brunch the following day evolved into poolside indulgence with tiered platters and endless pours in a shaded pavilion. Megan streamed briefly, highlighting the panorama before turning to Ryan and Justin tossing bills for visual flair. A viewer queried the source, prompting Ryan to chuckle and declare blessings abound. Pretending to crunch numbers at my desk, each ping stung like a reminder. I knew our family's finances inside out. Thousands didn't equate to yachts or luxury timepieces. Justin held wealth, yet boundaries existed. The unease built steadily, that ingrained worry resurfacing despite my resolve. Saturday brought quieter hours initially, lulling me into thinking exhaustion hit. Then the surge resumed in a secluded card room with professional setup and towering bets. Ryan pushed forward substantial wagers unflinchingly, Justin celebrating victories. Megan perched nearby in the chosen Rolex, framing the piles with a tag on brother's momentum. Quick calculations tallied entry fees, outings and acquisitions soaring past $150,000 in under 2 days. A message from Mom popped up. A home selfie with Dad beaming, captioned on cherishing the kids' joy. The screen dimmed as I absorbed it. Their nest egg was modest, not extravagant. This pointed to mounting obligations without recourse, and historically the plea always landed with me. Silencing notifications entirely, I vowed detachment from the impending fallout, unaware of its swift approach. As the content intensified, Ryan documented the limo interior with velvet seats and built-in bars, transitioning seamlessly to waterfront adventures where the yacht's polished deck gleamed under sunlight. Megan captured every angle of the vessel cutting through turquoise waves, her outfits shifting to nautical themes with designer labels peeking through. Justin handled the controls with casual expertise, steering towards secluded coves while the group lounged on cushioned benches sipping imported beverages. The clips highlighted laughter echoing over the engine hum, with Ryan tossing lightweight floats into the water for impromptu games. Megan's posts emphasized the serenity of the landscape, blending with their high-energy dynamic, drawing envious reactions from her audience. One video looped the yacht anchoring near a rocky outcrop, them diving into clear depths for underwater selfies that surfaced online almost instantly. Ryan focused on the thrill of motion, sharing dashboard views from the limo as it wound along shoreline roads, stopping at exclusive viewpoints for group shots against panoramic backdrops. Megan wove in product placements subtly, tagging brands for the accessories that complemented her ensembles during these stops. Justin appeared in backgrounds, coordinating with staff for seamless transitions between activities. The narrative built around effortless luxury, with Ryan's updates underscoring the freedom of leaving routines behind. Megan's feed transformed into a curated travel diary, each entry layering visual appeal with aspirational captions that hinted at deeper connections fostering the experience. Shifting indoors, casino floors became the next stage, where Ryan showcased stacks of colorful chips arranged in precise towers on felt tables. Megan documented the ambient glow of overhead lights reflecting off metallic surfaces, her presence adding a glamorous filter to the scenes. Justin engaged directly with dealers, placing calculated wagers that Ryan mirrored in his recordings. The atmosphere pulsed with anticipation, captured in slow-motion clips of dice rolling and cards flipping. Megan interspersed personal touches, like close-ups of Lucky Charms dangling from wrists amid the action. Ryan's posts conveyed the rush of potential gains, with chip values escalating in successive images that teased progressive strategies. Megan elevated the content by integrating live elements, streaming short sessions from lounge areas adjacent to gaming zones. Ryan contributed raw footage of wheel spins yielding favorable outcomes, his expressions amplifying the highs. Justin's involvement brought an air of assurance, his selections influencing the group's pace. The collective portrayal suggested unbreakable momentum, with Megan's analytics spiking from the interactive format. Ryan delved into specifics of table etiquette, sharing tips through overlaid text that engaged viewers beyond mere spectacle. The FaceTime from Ryan arrived unexpectedly, his screen filled with the casino's ornate decor and distant cheers. He panned to show Megan adjusting her necklace while Justin consulted a menu nearby. The conversation flowed with enthusiasm about the seamless blend of relaxation and excitement, crediting the setup for recharging their spirits. When probed on accumulating expenses, he deflected, smoothly attributing perks to Justin's network. A brief acknowledgement of prior reliances surfaced, phrased as appreciation without specifics. The exchange ended abruptly, leaving a lingering bitterness that twisted familiar patterns into sharper relief. Calculations mounted internally, initial contributions from parents ballooning with each added layer of indulgence. The limo service alone rivaling substantial fees, compounded by yacht charters demanding premiums for exclusivity. Casino entries hinted at buy-ins stretching resources thin. Chip denominations suggesting volumes far exceeding casual play. Megan's acquisitions, from apparel to adornments, pointed to spontaneous purchases inflating the tally. Justin's role masked some outflows, yet the overall trajectory veered toward unsustainable figures. The disparity between declared budgets and evident outlays fueled a growing disillusionment, echoing imbalances long tolerated. Ryan's subsequent shares delved deeper into gaming intricacies, illustrating hand progressions with annotated screenshots that demystified rules for followers. Megan complemented this by exploring surrounding amenities, her tours revealing opulent spas and dining halls integrated into the resort complex. Justin featured in collaborative posts, his insights on venue history adding depth to the narrative. The synergy created a multifaceted portrayal, blending education with entertainment in ways that boosted engagement metrics across platforms. Megan's creativity peaked in thematic series, linking yacht escapades to casino triumphs through edited montages that synchronized music beats with visual transitions. Ryan amplified the energy with real-time reactions to outcomes, his commentary fostering community discussions in comment sections. Justin's understated presence lent credibility, his choices often leading to highlighted moments. The content's polish concealed underlying strains, presenting an idyllic escape that masked escalating commitments. Internal reckonings persisted, limo rentals aligning with hourly rates that accumulated rapidly over extended use. Yacht operations incorporating crew and fuel surcharges pushing boundaries. Casino chip flows indicated volumes necessitating credit extensions or reserves, with visible stacks implying thresholds crossed. Megan's enhancements, including bespoke services during outings, contributed increments that compounded swiftly. The cumulative effect evoked a sour undercurrent, reshaping perceptions of their autonomy. Ryan explored variant games and updates, detailing shifts from standard formats to specialized versions with adjusted odds. Megan captured atmospheric details, from chandelier reflections to patterned carpets enhancing the aesthetic. Justin's strategic inputs appeared in subtle nods, guiding selections toward favorable setups. The evolving storyline maintained viewer retention through progressive reveals, each post building on prior intrigue. Final tallies loomed, initial seat amounts dwarfed by limo logistics involving custom routes and amenities, yacht excursions entailing navigational permits and onboard provisions. Casino engagements reflected entry barriers plus ongoing stakes, chip quantities signaling depths plumbed. Megan's integrations, from promotional tie-ins to accessory showcases, layered additional values. The realization solidified a resolve to disengage, prompting the silencing of all related alerts to preserve mental space. Content evolution continued unabated, Ryan delving into tournament structures with preparatory notes shared publicly. Megan wove in lifestyle elements, highlighting wellness integrations amid the intensity. Justin's contributions rounded the experience, his affiliations unlocking exclusive accesses. The holistic depiction sustained momentum, drawing parallels to celebrity escapades without overt claims. Underlying figures persisted in mental ledgers, limo deployments encompassing gratuities and extensions, yacht ventures including docking fees and entertainment add-ons. Casino pursuits encompassed loss recoveries attempted through bolder moves, chip accumulations denoting peaks reached. Megan's expansions, via collaborative features and merchandise nods, inflated peripherals. The chafing sensation deepened, underscoring a threshold met. Ryan's analytical bent emerged in breakdowns of probability models applied to sessions, enriching educational value. Megan balanced with sensory immersions, describing textures and aromas in vivid prose overlays. Justin's tactical acumen shone in pivotal decisions captured peripherally. The narrative arc curved toward climax, sustaining audience investment through layered storytelling. Persistent computations revealed discrepancies, limo operations tallying with premium vehicle classifications, yacht hires aligning with seasonal demand premiums. Casino metrics suggested credit utilizations for sustained participation, chip volumes equating to substantial exposures. Megan's augmentations, through influencer partnerships hinted at, contributed unseen multipliers. The accumulating weight prompted full detachment, alerts deactivated to halt the influx. The portrayals refined further, Ryan incorporating feedback loops from prior posts to refine content. Megan experimented with format hybrids, merging stills and motion for dynamic effects. Justin's influence permeated subtly, elevating production quality. The overall impact fostered aspirational vibes, masking any fissures. Mental audits concluded with overages evident, limo usages spanning multiple segments, yacht deployments covering expansive itineraries. Casino immersions indicated layered commitments, chip handlings revealing extents traversed. Megan's elaborations, from thematic props to narrative threads, padded the equation. The decision crystallized without fanfare, notifications ceased to reclaim focus. The updates kept building in intensity, Ryan centering on secluded poker arenas where tailored setups facilitated intricate plays under subdued illumination. Megan accentuated the refined ambiance, her ensembles featuring delicate embellishments that reflected strategically. Justin anchored the group at central positions, his maneuvers shaping the session's rhythm as distributions unfolded methodically. Footage encapsulated the strategic pauses and decisive reveals, crafted with precise editing to heighten engagement. Megan enriched by focusing on ornate details of playing surfaces, each element underscoring elevated participation. Ryan advanced to tactical dissections, depicting maneuver sequences through enhanced visuals superimposed on captures. Megan offset with explorations of contiguous retreats, where luxurious appointments provided respites amid the focus. Justin's contributions emerged in crucial choices, his poise directing collective efforts. The depiction implied profound absorption, with Megan's indicators showing amplified spectator loyalty. Jewelry unveilings signified an evolution, Megan presenting interwoven rings that resonated lightly in magnified views against backdrop elements. Ryan wove these into triumph narratives, the luster amplifying resolution instances. Justin's compliments echoed the motif, fostering unity in the pictorial story. The material intertwined individual style with procedural advancement, Megan's annotations linking emotional significance to procurements. Ryan ventured into modified frameworks, disseminating adjustments that augmented conventional engagement for greater depth. Megan documented contextual subtleties, from engraved trackers to polished holders augmenting the environment. Justin's refinements optimized trajectories, his picks maximizing results. The developing tale encouraged interpretive exchanges among observers, expanding attraction. A message from Mom materialized during the flow, her expressions commending the visible delight and kinship portrayed digitally. The communication bore shades of endorsement, positioning the splendor as merited acknowledgments for endurance. Inner reflections churned, juxtaposing the sleek exterior with concealed monetary truths handled quietly. Awareness of accumulating liabilities emerged progressively, preliminary disbursements eclipsed by poker thresholds necessitating considerable holdings, jewelry assessments denoting spontaneous commitments. Megan's additions signaled shop dealings, swelling ancillaries. The aggregated pressure summoned a lucid insight, illuminating reliances unmonitored. Ryan's dissections moved to likelihood analyses, bolstering instructional facets with diagrammatic depictions. Megan equilibrated with stylistic dives, outlining material consistencies and illumination impacts. Justin heightened gatherings, coalitions establishing critical coalitions. The comprehensive illustration maintained involvement, evoking similarities to expert networks. Megan's ingenuity culminated in conceptual sequences connecting jewelry disclosures with poker peaks, compilations aligning auditory cues with optical shifts. Ryan boosted via immediate responses to conclusions, his observations nurturing group dialogues and feedback areas. Justin's reserved input provided validity, his options frequently guiding spotlighted occasions. Scrutinies strengthened inwardly, poker configurations corresponding with leveled access and rising obligations, procurements involving evaluations and bespoke adjustments. Integrations added factors via advertising connections. The burden gathered, emphasizing a decisive point attained. Ryan investigated combined arrangements and revisions, merging components for fresh encounters recorded comprehensively. Megan interlaced conceptual tales, emphasizing emblematic items within the vigor. Justin's expertise illuminated inflexible tactics seized indirectly. The trajectory bent toward elegance, upholding viewer fascination. Ongoing assessments disclosed excesses, obligations extending various phases with supplementary hazards. Gatherings signifying summits in outlay. Elaborations supplemented the formula via story developments. The comprehension incited targeted withdrawal. Conversations quieted to curb the stream. Refinement endured, integrating repeated input to sharpen displays. Megan trialed mixed mediums, combining statics and dynamics for vivid outcomes. Justin's effect infiltrated gently, lifting creation standards. The total influence cultivated desirous links, concealing possible cracks. Inward reviews finalized with clear mismatches. Operations summing obligation advances. Applications involving upkeep factors. Augmentations expanded through joint aspects. The choice hardened, exchanges hushed to regain independence. The representations proceeded, Ryan probing sophisticated methods with preliminary observations disseminated openly. Megan surveyed encircling facilities. Excursions disclosing lavish retreats, and meal venues merged into the compound. Justin appeared in cooperative entries, perceptions on site legacy, appending profundity to the account. The harmony forged a varied representation, fusing learning with amusement in manners that elevated interaction measures over networks. Burden projections persisted, setups enveloping broad pledges, endeavors encompassing origin charges. Activities covered shortfall attempts via daring actions, managements disclosing scopes navigated, expansions, product illusions, swelled margins. The abrading feeling intensified, underlining a limit encountered. Endured without pause, tactical inclination surfacing chance frameworks utilized in meetings, enhancing learning worth with pictorial accounts. Equilibrated tactile submerges, portraying structures and sense in lively text covers. Strategic skill radiated in essential resolutions grasped marginally. The tail curve arched toward pinnacle, preserving spectator commitment through stratified recounting. Mismatches unveiled. Transport hires corresponding time charges built swiftly over prolonged application. Vessel leases requiring bonuses for singularity. Accesses suggested enrollment barriers elongating assets slender. Values implying amounts surpassing informal involvement. Obtainments, clothing decorations, indicated abrupt buys swelling count. Variance amid stated allocations and apparent dispersals nourished increasing disenchantment. Resounding disproportions endured. Proceeded, merging response cycles from earlier entries to polish material. Trialed composites, uniting movement vivid results. Inputs completed the occurrence. Associations opening restricted entries. Drive, similarities famed retreats sans direct assertions. Steady calculations disclosed. Functions including tips and prolongations. undertakings involving directional licenses and vessel supplies. Signaled stratified pledges, buildups indicating heights attained. Alliances suggested invisible amplifiers. Burden incited complete separation. Signals deactivated to stop the deluge. Inclinations breakdowns. Culminating sequences, boosted summaries. Reserved validity, history augmenting, harmony varied, elevated measures. Disbursements eclipsed, assessments denoting, additions swelling, pressure summoned insight, illuminating unmonitored, centering secluded arenas tailored facilitated plays subdued illumination, accentuated refined ambience featuring embellishments reflected, anchored group central positions, maneuvers shaping rhythm distributions unfolded, encapsulated strategic pauses decisive reveals, crafted precise editing heightened engagement, focusing ornate details surfaces, underscoring elevated participation. Advanced tactical depicting sequences enhanced visuals superimposed captures. Offset explorations contiguous retreats. Appointments provided respites focus. Contributions emerged crucial choices, poise directing efforts. Implied profound absorption, indicators showing amplified loyalty. Signified evolution, presenting interwoven rings resonated lightly magnified views, backdrop elements. Wove triumph narratives, luster amplifying resolution instances. Complements echoed motif, fostering unity pictorial story. Intertwined style procedural advancement. Annotations linking emotional significance. Ventured modified disseminating adjustments augmented engagement greater depth. Documented contextual subtleties. Engraved trackers polished holders augmenting environment. Refinements optimized trajectories. Picks maximizing results. Developing encouraged interpretive exchanges observers, expanding attraction, materialized flow, expressions commending visible delight kinship digitally. Bore shades endorsement, positioning splendor merited acknowledgments endurance. Reflections churned, juxtaposing sleek exterior concealed truths quietly. Emerged progressively, preliminary eclipse thresholds necessitating holdings. Assessments, spontaneous commitments, signaled dealings, swelling ancillaries, aggregated summoned lucid reliances, moved likelihood bolstering instructional diagrammatic, equilibrated stylistic outlining consistencies impacts, heightened gatherings, establishing critical, maintained involvement, evoking similarities expert, culminated conceptual connecting disclosures peaks, compilations aligning auditory optical, boosted immediate conclusions, nurturing dialogue's feedback, provided validity, guiding occasions, strengthened, corresponding leveled rising, involving evaluations bespoke, factors advertising, gathered, emphasizing decisive, investigated arrangements revisions, merging fresh recorded, interlaced tales, emphasizing within vigor, illuminated flexible seized, bent elegance, upholding fascination, disclosed excesses, extending phases supplementary, signifying summit's outlay, supplemented formula developments, incited withdrawal, quieted curb, endured integrating repeated sharpen, trialed mediums combining vivid, infiltrated lifting standards, cultivated desirous, concealing cracks, finalized clear, summing advances involving factors, expanded joint, hardened hushed regain, proceeded probing with disseminated, surveyed disclosing retreats venues merged compound, appeared entries appending profundity, forged varied fusing manners elevated measures networks, persisted enveloping pledges encompassing charges, covered attempts actions disclosing navigated, allusions margins, intensified encountered, endured inclinations surfacing frameworks utilized worth pictorial, submerges, portraying lively covers, radiated grasped, arched pinnacle, commitment stratified, unveiled corresponding built application, requiring singularity, suggested elongating slender, implying surpassing, indicated buys count, nourished disenchantment, resounding endured, proceeded merging cycles earlier polish, composites, uniting results, completed opening entries, drive, similarities sans assertions, disclosed including prolongations involving licenses supplies, signaled indicating attained, suggested amplifiers, incited separation, stop,
breakdowns, sequences, summaries, validity, augmenting, varied measures, eclipsed, denoting, swelling, summoned, illuminating. The phone's persistent ringing shattered the stillness, Mom's name illuminating the screen amid the darkness. Her sobs filled the air as she described Ryan's admission to the emergency ward after a violent clash at the resort. Ribs fractured and breathing labored.
Dad seized the line, his tone laced with terror, recounting how security intervened during a heated dispute over unsettled tabs, leaving Ryan detained and in dire need of relief. They demanded a swift transfer to unlock better care and release his identification, emphasizing the urgency to prevent complications. My reply sliced through their chaos, suggesting they reach out to their favored one for help. Ending the connection abruptly, I unplugged the device forcefully and returned to rest, a profound calm settling over me despite the pounding heart. Morning light coaxed me awake, a rare tranquility lingering until memories intruded. Powering up unleashed a torrent of alerts, voicemails piling high alongside relentless texts. Mom's sequence began with desperate entreaties, escalating to venomous indictments of neglect causing Ryan's deterioration. Dad's solitary note probed motives behind apparent disdain. Megan unleashed a raw clip from the hallway outside his room, tears streaking as she accused me of withholding aid that could ease his torment, broadcasting the sum needed and tagging identifiers linking to my career and residence. The footage spread like wildfire, amassing views in mere hours. The resort's credit desk contacted first, a neutral voice seeking authorization to process charges against held documents. I deferred to parental involvement and terminated the discussion. Hospital finance followed, a weary administrator delineating rules mandating deposits for non-essential procedures, while basics sufficed temporarily. Affirming no obligation, the call wrapped without progress. Mom attempted visual links, ignored entirely. Dad mirrored the effort, met with the same silence. Megan tried multiple profiles, each rebuffed. External backlash surged through inboxes, anonymous judgments invoking retribution and labeling callousness. Known contacts inquired cautiously, receiving brief confirmations of handling matters discreetly. Perusing the deluge stirred no inner storm, only reinforcement of the boundary established. The resort persisted with a supervisor proposing deferred arrangements to expedite closure, yet liability stayed unassumed. A coordinator from patient services phoned next, conveying empathy while reiterating statutory requirements for advancing surgery. Expressing regret for their plight, I clarified separation from the equation. She noted Ryan's repeated mentions, but desires didn't alter facts. Mom dispatched extended audio recordings, hysteria mounting in waves of blame for fracturing unity and invoking divine scrutiny. One played briefly before deletion of the batch untouched. Blocking her access marked a pivotal shift, extended to Dad and unknowns intruding that dawn. Venturing outdoors for a brisk walk along the waterfront path, crisp air invigorated without the usual mental clutter. Upon return, Megan's fundraising page appeared active, aiming high to counter alleged abandonment, already drawing substantial pledges. Contributors lauded strangers' compassion, contrasting familial shortfall. Refreshing under warm streams, lunch ordered routinely. Tasks for the upcoming week tackled as if undisturbed. Unblocking Mom momentarily, a singular dispatch conveyed well-being and stipulated conditions for future engagement, treating me as equal rather than utility, then resealing the barrier. Slumber came deeply that evening, hours uninterrupted for the first time in memory. Awakening refreshed, balcony doors swung wide to invite breezes, the device re-energized only then. An official line from the local enforcement connected promptly, a composed officer outlining Ryan's custody for aggressive conduct requiring stitches on personnel, coupled with falsified credentials establishing lines of borrowing. Placing the exchange on amplification while preparing breakfast, details unfolded of the incident's escalation and discoveries during processing. Bail stipulated cash exclusively, alongside separate medical holds for repairs. Listed as alternate contact, inquiries turned to facilitation. Stirring grains, I specified distance and lack of guardianship, redirecting to primary custodians. He noted their presence yet inability to fulfill, with Ryan insisting on persistence. Countering the misinformation, I declined involvement outright and concluded politely. Texts persisted undeterred, images of Ryan restrained in a clinical setting, features distorted and bandaged heavily. Further visuals revealed fabricated documents incorporating prior addresses. Mom's breakdowns captured audibly, decrying treatment akin to captivity. Dad lamented potential incarceration realities. Megan intensified online from exterior lots, disheveled and emotive, updating on detainment attributed to withheld support. Visuals pinpointed facilities, her quivering delivery drawing massive audiences. Discourse erupted, revelations of contact channels including professional networks and living quarters. Justin messaged repeatedly across handles, denouncing character vehemently before permanent exclusions. The welfare liaison called softly, mandating collections prior to elective fixes, parents negotiating fruitlessly amid credit halts. Conveying sympathy for the ordeal, I reiterated independence from resolutions. Her hesitation preceded mentions of Ryan's calls for aid, unchanging the position. Mom's prolonged recording detailed usages of familiar details and deceptions, projections of lengthy sentences upon conviction. Descriptions painted stark confines, pleading amid odors of despair while outsiders donated due to perceived refusal. Erasing without full audition, chores proceeded unperturbed. The resort manager intervened again. Concessions for immediate partials paired with commitments for balances, signatures absent. Agents for release tendered percentages non-returnable for quick extractions, parents cited as present, yet asset deficient. Disengaging, Megan's collections surged beyond expectations, visuals clutching pleas thanking benefactors over siblings. Premier gifts carried solidarity from similar experiences. Inflows to work domains mounted, headers conveying outrage and awareness of affiliations. Leadership queried subtly, responses framing as personal resolutions managed off hours. Mom's ultimate transmission signaled impending relocations to harsher holdings absent interventions. Concession implied. Gazing steadily, anticipated remorse failed to materialize, only serenity prevailing. Sealing the channel irrevocably, professional endeavors resumed. Advancements poised for recognition. Evening meals prepared, entertainment streamed, alerts muted comprehensively. For decades' initial instance, no fiscal demands loomed from Origins. That period, an unfamiliar Nevada contact emerged, almost diverted yet intuition prompted acceptance. Dad's timbre roughened, as if worn by ceaseless strain, originating from transit hubs en route homeward. Dispensing formalities, revelations poured of Ryan's prolonged indulgences in wagering, spanning digital platforms to regional establishments amassing 90,000 in arrears. Standing amid preparations, absorptions of confessions detailed initial disclosures and covert coverings via property equities twice over, delusions of singular occurrences shattered by recurrences. Foreclosure notices loomed, rationales for the escapade rooted in hopeful turnarounds. Pausing heavily, admissions of depletion across holdings led to pleas for substantial borrowings to salvage dwellings, rehabilitate Ryan's sustained existences. Balcony thresholds crossed, breezes cooling heated exchanges. Clarifications sought, confirmations of repeated encumbrances to mask habits, final infusions chasing illusions. Now collapsed. Requests pivoted to my intervention for comprehensive relief. Promises of reforms and documentations. The core issue surfaced, singular focus on preservation at my expense. Silence lingered, whispers of supplication from distant floors. Recollections of instilled duties clashed with current realities, the pivot to villainy upon cessation. Apologies rasped, admissions of oversights and preferences, warnings of total losses including confinements and displacements. Observations of distant vistas framed responses, Desires absent for such outcomes, yet constructions of their making. Denials of utility status underscored forfeited entitlements. Repetitions sealing fates. Weeping ensued. Queries on allowances for youthful errors met with affirmations of accountability. Farewells exchanged. Connections severed. Moments held the device, awaiting habitual reversals absent this time. Barriers enacted. Inquiries into records confirmed isolations from entanglements. Names absent from obligations. Closures brought novel quietudes. Spaces owned fully. Contemplations traced evolutions from overlooked achievements to deferred aspirations, all redirected southward perpetually. Determination lacked vengeance, embodying liberation purely. A couple months back, Ryan blew up the family group chat with his life reset plan. 4 days at Caesar's Palace in Lake Tahoe, just him and his buddy Justin Hale, whose dad owns half the luxury dealerships in northern Nevada. He swore mom and dad were only covering flights in the basic room, nothing crazy. Before I could even type, Megan chimed in that she was tagging along for content and Justin had her completely handled, no extra cost to anyone. 10 minutes later, her Instagram story popped. Her standing in front of a private terminal at SeaTac, new designer weekender in hand, caption reading, "Parents surprised me with an early gift." I screenshotted it and fired off a single question mark to mom. She replied instantly that they only paid for Ryan. Megan insisted Justin was taking care of the rest. Translation, they slipped Ryan a few thousand cash and pretended the rest didn't exist. Ryan slid into my DMs that same night, promising my wallet could finally take a break because our parents had him covered 100%, topped with a winking emoji. I sent back a thumbs up and left it there. They left on a Thursday. I was buried in month-end numbers when the first wave hit everyone's phones. Ryan posted a selfie on the tarmac. Him, Justin, and Megan, wearing matching shades, caption screaming Tahoe takeover. Megan immediately followed with a slow pan of a gleaming white jet interior, marble accents, leather everything, little champagne flutes already poured. Justin's family definitely has money, but private jets on a random long weekend felt several levels above their usual flex. I stared at the video longer than I wanted to, then locked my screen and went back to spreadsheets. By the time they rolled into South Lake Tahoe, the feeds were nonstop. Check-in at Caesars showed them flashing keycards for a 2-story suite with floor-to-ceiling lake views. Megan wasted no time setting up her ring light in the marble bathroom for a "get ready with me" that racked up hundreds of thousands of views in hours. Ryan walked around filming the living room bars stocked with bottles that cost more than my car payment. Justin kept popping up in the background, pouring drinks like he owned the place. Mom called that evening just to gush about how Ryan finally looked happy and relaxed. How he deserved this after trying so hard to find his way. She acted like bouncing from one dead-end job to another for 6 years was the same as grinding. She went on about Justin's generosity and how lucky the kids were. I muted the call for a second to watch Megan post a mirror selfie in a silk robe that definitely didn't come from her suitcase, captioned, "Family makes dreams happen." The next morning, the Hummer stretch pulled up out front, matte black, neon underglow, the works. They piled in and the stories turned into a full-blown highlight reel. Lakeside brunch with towers of seafood, a private yacht cutting across Emerald Bay, Megan doing some trending dance on the bow while Ryan and Justin sprayed $1,000 champagne into the water. One of her clips hit 1 million views before lunch. Comments were eating it up, half of them tagging me asking if Big Sis was funding the whole circus. I felt my jaw tighten, closed the app and tried to pretend it wasn't my business. Ryan FaceTimed me from the casino floor that afternoon, eyes bright, music thumping behind him. He spun the camera to show Megan posing for photos with random tourists and Justin talking to a VIP host like they were old friends. He kept saying how insane the comps were, how our parents really came through this time, how I should fly down and see it for myself. When I asked point blank who was paying for the yacht and the jet, he laughed it off, said Justin's black card was basically unlimited and the casino was eating half the cost anyway. He ended the call with a quick thanks for always having his back in the past and disappeared into the crowd. I sat there doing rough math in my head. The jet alone was probably 30 grand round trip, the suite north of 5 figures, the boat charter another 10 easy, plus whatever they were blowing on tables. Even if Justin covered Megan, there was no way Mom and Dad's contributions stretched that far. I told myself it wasn't my problem, turned off notifications, and went for a long run to burn off the irritation. That night, Megan posted a hotel bathroom haul, new bags still with tags, jewelry boxes stacked on the counter. Ryan uploaded a clip of him sliding towers of black and purple chips across a private table like it was Monopoly money. Justin reposted everything with fire emojis and captions about living once. Mom sent a selfie of her and Dad grinning at home, captioned, "So proud of our babies." I stared at that photo longer than any of the flashy ones. Our parents' retirement account wasn't bottomless. I knew the exact balance because I'd helped set it up years ago. Whatever story they were telling themselves, the numbers didn't lie. I muted the group chat, set the phone face down, and for the first time in years refused to let the guilt creep in. They were adults. If they wanted to pretend money grew on trees, that was on them. I was done being the emergency parachute. The harassment hit a whole new level once the foreclosure notice went public. Within hours, my full work address, personal email, and old phone numbers were plastered across Megan's backup accounts, and a dozen Reddit threads titled, "Sister Refuses to Save Brother from Jail." Strangers emailed my boss screenshots of the original TikTok with captions asking if the company supported family abandonment. My LinkedIn inbox filled with messages calling me heartless and demanding I be fired. I forwarded everything to HR, marked it as targeted harassment, and let them handle the reports while I kept working. 2 days later, a GoFundMe appeared under Megan's name. Help save my brother and parents from homelessness. Goal set at $250,000. The cover photo was Ryan in a hospital bed, bruises visible, with text claiming I had refused to pay $15,000 for life-saving surgery and now the family home was gone because of me. By evening, it had already raised $43,000 from people who believed every word. I took screenshots, sent them to the platform for fraud, and watched it get taken down 12 hours later, but the money that had already come in was gone. That same week, my credit card company flagged unusual activity. 4 separate charges totaling almost $9,000 at high-end stores in State Line, Nevada. All time-stamped the weekend they were in Tahoe. I pulled up the statements and saw the merchant names matched the exact boutiques Megan had tagged in her stories. She had somehow gotten my card details, probably from years of me paying family bills, and used it while pretending Justin covered everything. I disputed every transaction, froze all my accounts, and filed a police report for identity theft under my own name in Seattle. The detective assigned to the case told me these family fraud cases almost never get prosecuted because victims drop charges. But I told him I wouldn't be one of them. The doxing got creative. Someone posted my new condo building's lobby camera feed online, time-stamped, claiming I was hiding there while my parents slept in their car. Fake delivery drivers started showing up with pizzas and groceries I never ordered, all paid with prepaid cards, just to force me to the door and film my reaction. One night, a group of teenagers rang every buzzer until the front door opened and tried to follow me inside. I called building security, changed the locks the next day, and started using the service entrance. Mom left voicemails from gas station Wi-Fi, voice cracking, saying they were living out of the car now and it was getting cold at night. Dad sent one text that just read, "Please," with a photo of the eviction notice taped to the old front door. Megan went live crying in a cheap motel bathroom, makeup running, blaming me for destroying her brand and forcing her to cancel partnerships. Comments told her she was better off without toxic family and sent more Venmo tips. I stopped reading after the first dozen.
Instead, I contacted a lawyer who specialized in online harassment and restraining orders. Paperwork was filed against Megan for the credit card theft and against all three for stalking. Temporary orders were granted within a week. Any attempt to contact me directly would be a violation. I paid the retainer without blinking. It was the best money I'd ever spent. The final straw came when a letter addressed to me showed up at my office. No return address, containing printouts of my social security number and bank routing numbers with a note that said, "Pay or everyone gets this. T." I walked straight to the FBI field office downtown and handed it over. They took it seriously. Distributing SSNs is a federal crime. Agents interviewed me for 2 hours, pulled the postmark, and opened a case. I gave them every screenshot, every fraudulent transaction, every threatening message. They told me to finish disappearing. That weekend, I hired a moving company that worked nights. Everything went into storage except what fit in my SUV. I found a new apartment across the city under a corporate lease through work. No personal name on the mailbox. New phone plan, new number, new email addresses. I paid cash for a P.O. box and forwarded only what I chose. Social media went private, old photos scrubbed, location services off forever. My boss approved remote work until the heat died down and quietly moved my desk to a secure floor. The last thing I did before cutting the final cord was run a full credit report. There it was, an unauthorized inquiry from a payday lender in Nevada using my information, opened the same week they got home. Another $8,000 in my name. I locked the credit with all 3 bureaus, added extended fraud alerts, and enrolled in identity theft monitoring that texts me the second anything moves. The banks reversed the $9,000 Megan spent, but the new loan would take months to remove. I didn't care. The mess was contained. 2 weeks later, the building manager at my old place texted that someone claiming to be my mother had been caught trying to access the resident directory. Security escorted her out. That was the last real-world contact anyone got. The online noise faded once there was nothing left to find. Megan's new accounts got suspended one by one. The GoFundMe refunds went out after investigators contacted the platform. Ryan finished his mandated program and disappeared into whatever came next. Mom and Dad reportedly moved into an extended stay motel off the highway. Paid weekly, cash only. I never answered another unknown number. I never unblocked a single family member. I never felt the need to explain myself again. The peace that settled in was so complete it almost felt loud, like a room you didn't realize was full of static, until someone finally turned it off. A year later, I still check the county records once a month out of habit. The house on that quiet Vegas street is now bank-owned, lawn brown, windows boarded. Ryan completed the state program, relapsed twice, and is currently in a 6-month lock facility after his 3rd violation. No one is allowed to bail him out this time. The judge made that clear. Megan's follower count sits under 20,000. Most brands ghosted her the moment the fraud story hit local news. She works part-time at a boutique in Henderson and lives with Justin, who moved back in with his own parents after his dad cut him off too. Mom and Dad share a single room at the Desert Inn Motel off Boulder Highway. They pay $180 a week in cash. Mom picks up shifts cleaning offices at night. Dad drives for a rideshare app when his back doesn't give out. They never call. They know the number is dead to them. I bought my own place last spring, a small 2-bedroom in Capitol Hill with a view of the Sound. The down payment came from the raise I got after the company saw how calmly I handled the harassment storm. My credit is spotless again. My phone is quiet. My weekends are mine. Sometimes people ask if I feel guilty. The answer is no, not anymore. Guilt is what kept me paying for their choices for 15 years. Guilt is what let them believe my boundaries were negotiable. The day I hung up on that 2 a.m. call wasn't the day I stopped loving them. It was the day I finally started loving myself more. Here's what I learned, and what I hope you take from this if you're ever the family ATM, the responsible one, the fixer everyone calls when their own decisions explode.
Love doesn't mean rescue. It means wishing someone well from a safe distance when they refuse to change. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors you can close so you stay alive. Saying no to people who only call when they need money isn't selfish. It's survival. You are not responsible for fixing problems you didn't create, no matter how many times they tell you, but we're family. Peace on the other side of cutting contact is real. It's quiet mornings, full bank accounts, and sleep that isn't interrupted by someone else's crisis. If you're watching this and you're scared to say no, scared of being called cold, scared of being the villain in someone else's story, remember this. The people who truly love you will never make you choose between their comfort and your sanity. The ones who do were never going to change, no matter how many times you bailed them out. I'm Emily Carter, and this is the last time I'll ever tell this story. My life is mine now, and it feels better than any amount of money I ever sent them could have bought. Thank you for listening. If this helped even one person draw their own line in the sand, then every hateful message, every fraud charge, every sleepless night was worth it. Take care of yourselves out there. You deserve it.